That I'm absolutely terrified right now, so if I drop dead, just, you'll know why. Okay. Yeah, this is a cool introduction. I'm at the door, deciding whether I should take my jacket. I risk it and leave it at home, waiting for nobody to return. I'm heading into the wind, my bladder full. I want to yank it out and piss. I see the fork in the road, and I want to split in two and hop the rest of the way. Yeah. I come from a little town on the east coast called Great Yarmouth, and I think it's like my version of hell. And as it's a seaside town, I don't know who's been there, and if you have, then I feel very, very, very bad for you. But this is a poem inspired by and called Great Yarmouth. Aren't you bored of the same tired destinations, where you are sold on idealisms and implications? Forget the boring sunshine and sexy folk. Forget the hash bars of the down where you can toke. If it's the sordid, lascivious sexuality of Saint-Tropez, or the art of Florence, which cries dismay. How much stimulation can one person crave? And we've got a bit of sunshine, so you can still bathe. Do you dream of the bright lights and glamour of the new world? Or do you want to go deep-sea diving in search of pearls? Forget all of those haunts, they're far too out of date. Come to the town of Yarmouth, it's still here, it's still great. In Yarmouth you can buy kebab and chips with a meagre selection of chili dips. Come to Yarmouth where the women are dog rough, and you can find yourself lost in a deep sea of muff. Yarmouth town offers the big lights of Nevada, and like Jersey Shore want Guidos, then look no further. In Yarmouth the celebrities roam the street, from the tattoo-faced lady to the delightful crackhead named Pete. In good old GY, your collective smile will gather as a frown. Yes, you'll never be able to leave our fucking seaside town. The tourists are scum and the locals aren't much better. The beer tastes like the North Sea, except it's a little wetter. The litter is the town's glitter, see it flicker. But if you stay here, well, you'll be stuck in the shitter. We offer no guarantees except a life of hope that's lost. You'll cry with the locals and they'll still not give a toss. We provide nothing except misery and tortured youth. So you see, our housing prices are not yet through the roof. Want good education? You can take your little ones to school here. We're accepting of all sorts as long as you're white and not queer. We hate those fairy people and anyone with dreams. Come to Great Yarmouth where all is as it seems. We'll rob you of your future and deep-throat you with our past. We'll strip you of your pride and joy because they never last. We'll tell you that the hand you have is the one to be dealt. We'll beat the living shit out of you if butter wouldn't melt. We've lost our identity, it's dead like Horatio, but come lose your head instead while receiving some fellatio. Doesn't this sound like so much fun? Come on, don't be late. Don't expect nothing but your boring job though, as everywhere shuts by 8. So come along to this pleasant facade of oohs and ahs, but don't come back if you want to get far. You see, we have no time for people with ideas and goals in mind. Those people don't belong here, so don't waste our bloody time. So if you suck at life and you want a rotten place that's rough, look no further than the grandeur, the splendour of Great Yarmouth. This one is about my family, so already you know it's going to be really happy. Our unit is broken. Friction lays between many hinges. Some accept and move while stubborn rusts in others. Time is blamed throughout, but the past is blameless. Evolve or die, like father, like son. Distance becomes their gifts. To each other no deeds done, they're never there. Their shells loveless. Being loved is not in their varnish. Some want to move along, to change. Others just waiting for replacement. New generations present receive new presents. Time is our gift and balance is life. For anyone who is friends with me on Facebook, my real name is James Moore. I just decided to use the pseudonym because there's many James Moores, and Weeds is my mother's maiden name. And I'm sure that's probably where I get like my artistic nature from. If I was anything like my dad, I'd be outside fixing a car, probably. My cover picture, my Facebook account, is a picture, it's a silhouette of me on Sunderland Beach with my hand like this, and someone positioned the camera so the sunrise was in my hand. And this poem was written back in October, which was a really happy part of my life. And this is called Deus. Today, I held the sun for a short space of time. I wanted to write a poem for the sea and write it in sand so it can be collected when the tide comes up. I thank God just before the sky broke time, for everything in that moment rippled peacefully and negativity soon faded away like flotsam in the shallows. This scene was a pilgrimage. I was standing before God at the edge of his universe. If I closed my eyes, I could see him. Every time my heart beat, I felt electricity. I looked at the red sky, drowned out by the slow waves of shore, and felt the chill of an October morning. I could smell the burnt leaves and acid chemicals from my last cigarette, and I felt connected. I was the iPod docked into the station of life, and it unravelled before me. Its prints were blue as they came out of the sky. I had clothes of my favourite place, despite it now just being a memory. I was with two friends, symbolic of the time in my life. I was without a love, but I had the heat of the sun, the chill of the sea, and the welcoming in the air to quench me. And then time moved on. Yeah, I used to be a wrestler, I have to say it, in floating commas, because I was more of a backyard wrestler. Me and my friends were all a group of fans, and we decided to train, and then we rented out a sports hall once a fortnight, and we performed wrestling with terrible names like Just Insane, and I was Jamie the Beast Moore. So this is a poem dedicated to my friends. Old friends, dear old friends, the times we were there nothing did depend on nothing, no cares. The hand is wound and will always tick, but we its clock-bound friends will miss the trick. But some of us fear, myself included, that we will remain here, forever excluded. The distance among us means we're no longer close, but memories still fuss over nostalgia's dose. So my friends, come forth and lead us as men down laughter's path and return to the den. I tend to rant a lot as well in poetry, and this is just a rant that I found hidden away on my laptop, and I thought it was okay. Centered paragraphs and exploitations, this doting sensation on the tip of your tongue, you cough. That jump is way too big for you, and that's why I like it, because like you, it deceives. It's not a bad thing, nor a good, but this understanding, you should see things in my eyes the way that they ought to be demonstrated. Black and red, pads and maps. It's only the life of us all, this mass conscious, could be swayed like these pleasantries. However, hypnotism may have been a factor to us all. How can we really be sure? We only know what we are told, and we are only told what we know. To think otherwise is not really the way, that's why nobody like this exists. This poem still doesn't have a name, but it was inspired by a time when I was flirting over text to my girlfriend, and it made me wonder why was I saying the things that I wanted to say, when in reality what I wanted to tell her was much more deep than, you know, what she was wearing. So yeah. So I just text you, asking for your ass and spandex, implying I need you here so we can have sex like you have no other purpose in my life, and the way you put out you'd make a good wife. But when inside, I just want your warmth and love. The kind no one else gives me, because it gives me strength and it reminds me of how grand life can be, but I hide behind bullshit and macho imagery, as if every guy's head was in symmetry and we are vacuous and sexist and wrong. Sometimes I actually wonder why girls wear thongs. Is it for them or for their men, and in the end, why does it even matter? There is a breakdown somewhere, feeling scared to tell you I care, and I really do mean it. Even if your love was an ice storm and I had to ride an icicle or swallow a bicycle to be clown for you, I would do any of the things that you wanted me to. Because of you and only you, when you're with me, one is two, and my word is true when I say I love you. No more pretense of how I'm a lad of one of the boys. Without you I would be destroyed and alone, forever no doubt. I would give up living, just about. I would drop to my knees and say your name, please. Forgive me my bullshit, forgive me my sleaze. It's just a disguise for a fear of being weak, and it hurts so much sometimes I really cannot speak, and I talk a lot. And you know that this is true, and this is what I'm going to be from now on. Because through all the imagery, deceit and lies, I'm nothing without you. Everything has led up to this point. Impulse is consumed and away rationality shoved. My life ended now, for if not by you, I am loved. Yeah, I have a long distance relationship with my girlfriend. She lives in Virginia. And last month I went to the island of Chincoteague, where we like spent spring break together. And I did the creepy, sort of newish boyfriend thing of like looking at them when they were asleep. So I thought I could only make it a little better if I wrote a poem. So this is looking back. As I lay beside you, I reflect on scuffed knees and off-white collars. How can this be real? I remember the sandpit and mums and dads, sweaty palms and dirty fingernails. I remember Dean Tyson wanted to be a rally-driving footballer and Ryan's cry of boredom in the sandpit. I try to reflect on my own sense of self, and were you really in my future back then? As I lay here beside you, I'm looking at your gentle face and recall the sides of your eyes cracking when the air is filled with the happy tones of your laughter. Our lives are so different and yet intertwined. Here we are. Nobody else. I'm so happy we're here together as you twitch and dream. I love you and I have no other. And this is my final one. Do you remember the rant what I did from the Waddington Marathon about falling in love in relationships?
Yes.
Do you think I should read that? Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I have one more poem, just a rant that I did at Waddington Marathon back in February with Steve. And this all kind of ties in with my relationship and everything, so... I'm more like fuck when I talk about the beginnings of relationships. God, do they really have to flirt so much and speak in shitty riddles when all it takes is, I fancy you or you're quite fit? When I see two people who are clearly mad for each other but deny all speculation over it, they are the worst. I like to force them into an empty room, remove their clothing and yell, go on, do it! And I would watch until their silly subtlety and fake flirting drains away. But, as soon as I become attracted to someone, I'm full of the... Hey you. Grin eyes, and I take enjoyment out of everyone else around me feeling sick with my shocking ineptitude of being subtle. The game of relationships is really amazing, so unpredictable. I love not being able to see for the rose tints. It breaks down the humdrum monotony and boring life of grey. And it's a game everyone can play. And this one, I can thank Michelle McCabe for giving me 3 prompts to write this poem. This is called Treehouse. As we sit here, our love entwines us, the stars of the sky and the fresh haze laying upon the grass. You touched my shoulder as you slid closer and closer. We were lovers, limitless, in listing our path options, which seemed as silly as sight was to touch. Your skin rose as you shrank on my shoulder. The night grew colder and the moon's boulders cracked and smouldered as we sat bounded by the brave brashness of the feelings feared and yet felt so freely, and yet as yesterday's yearning came turning, the rhythm of my breast, my chest began to burn, and this thrice turn made us live together in infinite imagination. The mist disappeared. In the treehouse I remain. The hue from the ever-burning moon will bring soon another day to miss you. I still miss you, as the earth still turns and the pain in my chest still burns.
Yay.